Is this season's championship shaping up to be the craziest ever? Well, on the basis of yesterday alone, definitely. It was absolute carnage in the second tier yesterday. We often refer to the championship as the best league in the world. We really mean the craziest, most bonkers league in the world. And it delivered in spades, didn't it? We had our winning streak leaders, obviously losing in injury time to a team that hadn't won a game yet. We've got two League One teams from last season currently in 7th and 8th. Conversely, we've got parachute teams in 9th and 19th. Blackburn, well, they sold the top scorer from last season. They're second as a result of that. And I've got a goal and a miss for you that we really have to talk about today. We can't really start anywhere other than our wonderful super soar-away streak, Sunderland. The winning streak is over, and we have an international break, and we're all setting it up. Oh, well, Sunderland, they're going to go to Plymouth. They're definitely going to win, aren't they? No. Classic championship where top meets yet to win, and not just yet to win. Lots of suspicion and eyes on Wayne Rooney there. He gets his first win in style, frankly. And of course, it had to be a 5-goal thriller, didn't it? Settled by Joe Edwards in the 93rd minute. Absolutely incredible. 3-2 the game ebbed and flowed. We had Sunderland in the lead. We had 2 penalties. We had an own goal. We had an 86th minute equaliser. I was watching on the Sky show yesterday, and the guy they had at the game, when they went to him for the 86th minute equaliser, said, well, look, you may not have come to me for the last time yet. And they were back for Edwards' 93rd minute winner. And fair play to Plymouth. This is not a smash and grab by the looks of it. This just looks like a bang, beat 'em up, both sides going for it game. And Plymouth get the first win of the season. They have generally skewed better at home. Remember, at home park through League One, they just didn't even draw a game, just won all the time there. We thought that was less of a thing at championship level, you know, with teams' capacity to travel and it being less of an advantage. But there we go. Plymouth knocking it out of the park at home park. Rooney gets the first win. Sunderland get their first defeat. First time they've even dropped points. Funnily enough, they hadn't conceded a goal until the previous game. That was an own goal. And the first goal in this game they conceded was an own goal. And then from the spot, so actually Edwards' goal was the first open play goal Sunderland have conceded this season, despite it now being the 4th one they've conceded. Get your thoughts in the comments, especially if you're at the game. Do Plymouth now go on a nice little run, and does Rooney prove all the doubters, and there are many of them, wrong? And what about Sunderland? Do they bounce straight back? How do they react to their perfect start coming to an end? Get in the comments. And we mentioned Blackburn at the top of the show. I mean, my God, I had them getting relegated in my 1 to 24. And the reasons for that were that they trended down. We often associate Blackburn with chaos as well. Those two things, plus, essentially, they seem to be propped up by Sammy Smodic's last season. But we've said it many times on the channel. If you're going to sell a star player and reinvest the money in 3 or 4 players, one of them being Ohashi, who looks an absolute baller, doesn't he? Then, you know, sometimes selling a star player might not actually be the worst thing in the world. And John Eustace, take a bow, fella. He had a great start with Birmingham last season. He's had a brilliant start with Blackburn this season. They are currently, at time of recording, we've got West Brom to play later, we could go above them. They're currently second. They're undefeated. 11 points in 5 games. Just outstanding. And you kind of look at these as acid tests, don't you? Where you've got Bristol City, who, you know, we expect to be a middling championship team, not in trouble, might make a playoff push. I had them just outside the playoffs. In fact, you know, very kind of deliberate, process-driven football from Liam Manning. And Blackburn just swept them away. There was a little bit of overplaying and Blackburn just keeping it simple and finishing and taking their chances. But yeah, just outstanding from Eustace and Blackburn thus far. And Ohashi, by the way, check out those 2 goals, because the finishes for both of them, he absolutely larrups the first one in the top corner, and then he's dribbling the second one in the into the box, and you think, oh, is he going to get a shot off here? Well, he steps in, he just swings it in the top corner, so he looks absolute fire. John Eustace is on fire, and just fair play Blackburn, another super surprise, superstar. As I say, they may not be second by the actual end of the round when West Brom have played, but I mean, what a start for the Rovers. Get in the comments if you were there as a Blackburn fan and also as a Bristol City fan. Bit of a worrying couple of games for City, who have now dropped to 17th. Way below the 2 promoted League One sides that are, well, slumming it up in the top 8 at the moment. We'll do these 2 together. Derby 1, Cardiff 0, Oxford 1, Stoke 0. So I think it's the case that both Oxford and Derby have played 3 home games and won every single one of them. And what you've got to say is fair play, by hook or by crook, get yourself up and stay up. That's the target. And let's be honest, they're both flying at the moment. Dare I say, I don't want to rain on anyone's parade. Will they ultimately be 7th and 8th? I mean, if they are, that is beyond outstanding, isn't it? But got to leverage home form, haven't you? Got to get early wins on the board, leverage home form, leverage momentum for last season. Paul Warne and Des Buckingham are definitely both doing that. Let's talk about the Derby game, because they beat Cardiff, who are struggling at the bottom. And it was Hoodmine again with the goal. He scored last week, didn't he, in a big win over Bristol City. Bit of a theme there with Bristol City losing 3-0 and us bigging up the opponents. Maybe we need to look the other way in that conversation. But no. We are going to be positive about Derby and about the promoted teams. We sort of said about Paul Warne as Rotherham manager that he kind of punched his weight and ultimately always failed and went down, and that this was a bit of a proving ground this season, with Derby maybe having a bit more resources than Rotherham did, a bit of a bigger stature and reputation than Rotherham did at Championship level. He's delivering so far. Fair amount of movement in the transfer window, and Goodmine is certainly delivering as well. And Zetterstrom, the keeper, is delivering as well. He's up as the foot mob man of the match here. But let's be very frank, all anybody's going to talk about from this game is a miss by Ibu Adams. And look, it can happen, can't it? He goes 1v1 with the keeper, who's come right out of his goal to win a header. And he's basically dribbling through, bless him, with an open goal. And yeah, he runs and he doesn't get his feet sorted out, and he kind of slips as he's hitting it, and he misses from there. So a miss that will go down in infamy, and sadly that will probably be remembered longer than this result. That's just the way these things go. But what we must do is, in the bigger picture, it's been a brilliant start for Derby. And let's be fair about this. If Derby and or Oxford, we'll talk about Oxford in a second, are in a relegation struggle come the end of the season, remember Rotherham, when they stopped up and Warne switched over to Taylor, it was points, achieved at home at the start of the season that made the difference. You'd probably say the same for Plymouth as well last season. Points, in the first 3 months of the season at home that ultimately make the difference and allow you that platform to build on, play the long game over 2-3 seasons. And if that is going to be the case, then these wins could be absolutely vital. Same for Oxford, just absolutely brilliant. And what you've got to say about Oxford as well, they've beaten Stoke, they've beaten Preston, and they've beaten Norwich. Okay, there's no parachute teams or maybe teams we're expecting to beat in the top 6, but it stands to reason. We talk about this when we're doing Premier League stuff as well. You've got to pick up some results from the middle teams. If the only teams you can beat are right down the bottom, well, you'll get relegated along with these teams that you're kind of beating down there. If it's just, 3 adrift or 4 adrift, you hope as many as possible. But yeah, we've got to say with Oxford and Derby, the conversation, frankly, at the moment, can't be about relegation because they're miles above it, as I said, in 7th and 8th. Idris El Mazouni with the goal yesterday. And okay, Stoke, and they're always a little bit unpredictable. But Oxford had just been tremendous so far. And I'm looking at it here. Stoke, 1 shot on target. Oxford, 8. this is not smashing and grabbing, is it? This is a comfortable, confident, competent victory. And Oxford, like Blackburn, I had them going down. I think I had them bottom as well in my pre-season 1 to 24. They are over and above that, doing brilliantly so far. So good. Excellent stuff from Derby. Excellent stuff from Oxford. One more game I've got to talk to you about. And we seem to put Sheffield Wednesday and QPR. They're like bracketed together with everything now, isn't it? Since Roll and Cifuentes came in. And these two sides that looked destined, certain for relegation last season, had great surges up the table and survived in the end. We kind of look at them the same. They played each other. I said it would be a draw, didn't I? Because we couldn't separate the two. What a ridiculous ending to this game. Barry Bannon wins the game for Sheffield Wednesday on 93 minutes. Alfie Lloyd on 96 minutes. Go out of your way to look at this goal. It's absolutely beautiful because it's probably the worst goal you will ever see, ever. Just complete, you know, when the kids are playing at school, maybe primary school kid age as well, and everyone's just gathered around the ball and they're all kicking at each other's shins and it kind of goes loose and sort of flies in the goal in the end. Just brilliant, brilliant stuff. And a 93rd and a 96th minute equaliser. You'd thought Joe Edwards' winner for Plymouth against Sunderland would be the most dramatic late goal of the weekend. Probably not. This one probably is. It's ugly. It's beautiful. It's the Championship, everybody. Let's just take a quick gander at the table after 5 rounds now. Again, with a big caveat that it's 9:15 in the morning on Sunday, and West Brom could go top of the table if they win at Pompey later on. So Sunderland and Blackburn are the top two. Sunderland streak over and just fair play. Blackburn, Burnley, great win at Leeds yesterday. They're 2 points per game. So Watford after they drew with Coventry. Sheffield United would also be 2 points per game. I mean, they've output 2 points per game, but they had a 2 points deduction as well. Plenty of coverage of Sheffield United, though, on the watch along on Friday night. We mentioned Oxford and Derby. Brilliant. There's Leeds. Through the middle, Borough. They drew yesterday. Swansea got a good win against Norwich, didn't they? We mentioned QPR, Stoke, Coventry. There are Norwich on the other end of it. Plymouth up to 16th, and Wayne Rooney is at a point per game. 45 to survive. He's projecting 46 as we go. Bristol City. There'll be worries with Liam Manning if those performances continue with back-to-back 3-0 defeats. Millwall lost at home to Luton. There are Millwall and Luton tied together there, 18th and 19th in the table. First win for Rob Edwards. He needed that. Wednesday and Preston. And your current bottom three, Pompey, Hull and Cardiff at the foot of the table on only 1 point. And I think John Percy, the journalist, went with the vote of confidence for Erel Bulut yesterday. Keep your eye on that. We know Mr. Tan can move fairly quickly, can't he? So let's answer the question at the top of the show. Is this the craziest championship ever? Hopefully, because it's good fun. Look, you know me, I'll make a video saying this is the most boring championship ever if after 20 games the top four are in some order: Leeds, Burnley, Luton and Sheffield United, and all the year one teams top, and all the year one promoted teams are kind of down the bottom. But let's enjoy it at the moment. It's early days, but it's crazy days in the championship yesterday.